Right after she ends the live stream and brings her phone down, strange noises begin drifting in from the mountainside, scattered, difficult to place, as though something is navigating the darkness while carefully maintaining just enough distance to trail her every move. She sweeps her light ahead and catches two glowing points reflecting back at her, resembling a deer's eyes, yet their height and positioning don't quite line up with any creature she can readily identify.
The stick sticking in the ground right there. That's a deer right there. I see it. Some eye shine. Look how big those eye shines are. Look how far off the ground they are. Oh, they went behind a tree. Hello? It's not showing up on here.
Then, while she's still trying to make sense of what she's looking at, an object suddenly comes sailing in from behind her, cutting through the air and hitting the ground nearby, enough to make it clear that whatever is out there isn't simply observing anymore. It has decided to make contact.
Right on there. It's like quite beautiful. And whatever that was, something threw something. I don't know if y'all heard it, but something was thrown right after I heard that weird noise. I'm leaving, but I got something thrown at me. That's pretty strange.
She instinctively retreats, but those two glowing points stay exactly where they are, completely still in the blackness, as though they had never shifted at all, holding a silence that drags on in the most unsettling way. And yet, rather than walking away for good, she announces she'll be returning to get to the bottom of what was lurking out there that night. Could you spot anything hiding in the dark? YouTuber Pasha makes the decision to venture out to a strange and unsettling location known as Grumovo, a secluded forest-covered area shrouded in deeply disturbing local folklore. The people who live nearby claim that lightning strikes the spot every single day, even under perfectly clear skies. Nobody calls this place home, and visitors simply don't come out here. Too many unexplained events, too many deaths with no rational explanation. There's even a graveyard sitting in the middle of an open field, holding the remains of both locals and unfortunate outsiders who never made it back. The video, titled "The Mysterious Zone Where Lightning Strikes Every Day, Real Footage," was posted on December 1st, 2025. Everywhere you look, trees are blackened, and the ground is scorched as though something keeps descending from above and targeting this very spot. Standing at the center of the field is an enormous boulder. The locals say it's the reason the lightning keeps coming. Its surface radiates warmth when you touch it, and right at its center sits a deep charred black mark, as though something burned itself into the stone permanently. People around here talk about glowing orbs, lightning from cloudless skies, and witches conducting rituals in the darkness. Pasha pitches his tent right beside the rock and commits to staying through the night. He powers down his phone, positions a camera, and simply waits. And then the moment arrives. A lightning strike.
Did you hear that? Let's go. Look. A chunk of the rock shattered. It's hot. I think we got it on camera. That was insane.
He's not sticking around for a second one. A blinding flash, a thunderous crack, it connects with the boulder dead on. How does something like that even happen? See exactly what unfolded with your own eyes. The complete footage is available right now through the link in the description. And there's more where that came from. A number of other strange and original videos are already waiting for you on his YouTube channel. Siege is the mind behind the YouTube channel Project Amber, a van life enthusiast, an outdoor explorer who films his off-grid campsites and the unpredictable realities that come with living far outside the mainstream. He travels with his dog Lance, regularly capturing the raw truth of life on the road, where strange terrain and unexpected run-ins can turn an otherwise quiet moment into something deeply unsettling. On May 5th, 2018, while camped in a remote mountain region with Lance, what first looked like a routine mechanical issue inside his van quickly became something far harder to explain. As the hours passed, the troubles around him grew beyond a malfunctioning fridge, spiraling into a series of bizarre events involving unexplained noises, a long-forgotten structure, and a mysterious figure emerging from deep within the wilderness.
I've read somewhere that if you take your fridge out and turn it upside down for a bit, that gets the gas going again. I'm going to give it a go because, quite frankly, I'm getting bored of buying food and it getting cooked in the fridge. Okay, so it looks like a bit of the food survived. Yeah, the chicken tikka's good. That's only a night old. Ham. Oh my god, no. Oh, the ham didn't survive. 2 elements back there. They are both real warm. That's annoying. That out. I'm going to have to take the plug off. So yeah, as well as the fridge going today, my passenger side wing mirror has gone really floppy. Granted, that's because I keep hitting off trees, but you know, that's kind of my fault on that one. Yeah, of course it's off. I just stopped then thinking is the power off, but that's the plug. There is no electrics this side. The side step has started to sag a little bit.
It all starts with a sudden problem inside the van when his refrigerator stops working, leaving everything inside exposed to the rising heat and forcing him to figure out what went wrong. Not long after, his focus shifted when he noticed an abandoned well sitting near his campsite. There was no obvious link between the two, but stumbling upon that forgotten structure stirred something uneasy in him, the kind of dread that comes from every horror story ever built around hidden dangers lurking in isolated places.
Seriously freaked out now. A minute ago I could hear like really loud moaning, like just booming across the mountains. So I've come down to where I could hear it. I got to this old well and it stopped. I mean, that thing's wild freaky. It's like something out of The Ring. But just as soon as I got here, just from over there, there's no track or anything, it's just wood. This girl appeared, dressed like kind of like a monk, no shoes, and no hair. So I said bonjour and that, and she responded. I asked if she was okay, but she didn't respond then, she just carried on walking. So I carried on a bit and thought I better double check. Went to go and find her again. She's gone. So up that way, that's where my van is, and that goes to the road. But down where she went that way, there's nothing, and there's nothing for miles. Where did she go? I'm gonna leave.
Things take a turn that is genuinely hard to make sense of when the woman completely ignores his attempts to call out to her and keeps moving further into the wilderness. When he goes to find her again, she has simply vanished. The landscape around him offers no clues as to where she could have gone, and the silence left behind only deepens the confusion. His dog makes it worse, repeatedly locking his gaze onto the exact spot where the figure was last seen, reacting to something entirely beyond what his owner could detect. With no answers about who she was, where she came from, or where she disappeared to, Siege decides that staying put is no longer a reasonable option. But just as he starts gathering his things, he hears something that stops him cold.
What was going on there? That was so weird. The well, the moaning from the forest, the girl. Nah, maybe there's an explanation to it all, but I wasn't sticking around. I left, I booted it. I'm about 50 miles from there now. I saw the girl another 2 times. The last time I was near the van and she was running through the forest. I left. I was gone. I was gone so fast. I didn't even pack the van away. Yeah, it's a pretty big mess in here. But I do have a working fridge. The fridge is working. It's nice and cold.
His refrigerator eventually kicked back on, but everything else he experienced out there never found a clean resolution. The woman may well have had a perfectly ordinary reason for being in those woods, even if nothing about it was possible to piece together from where he stood. But the combination of strange timing, eerie sounds, and a solitary figure appearing in such a remote location left a mark on him that no amount of driving could shake. What makes this story linger is the absence of a clear answer. It is the unresolved uncertainty that followed Siege out of those woods, the questions that rode along with him long after the engine turned over and the campsite faded in the rear view. Why was this woman moving alone through such deep wilderness, nowhere near any visible sign of civilization? And perhaps even more disturbing, Why did she appear to be producing strange moaning sounds as she walked? Were those cries for help an indication that something was seriously wrong, or something else entirely that he simply had no framework to interpret? Why did she refuse to acknowledge him at all, pressing forward without so much as a glance in his direction, despite his repeated attempts to get her attention? And above all else, where exactly was she headed as she dissolved further into the trees? Deep past the campsite and far from any recognizable trail, it is entirely possible that her behavior had a rational explanation. She may have been disoriented, lost, or dealing with something that was impossible to read from the outside. Maybe she had no idea how alarming the whole thing looked to someone watching from a distance. But even granting her every reasonable doubt, the circumstances were simply too hard to dismiss. A lone figure materializing in a place that remote, refusing all contact, and walking with apparent purpose toward nowhere visible, created an experience that Siege could not leave behind, no matter how far he drove. Sometimes the encounters that stay with us the longest are not the ones where something is plainly revealed, but the ones where every explanation you reach for still leaves one question hanging in the air. So what was actually going on out there in those woods? On November 8th, 2009, a clip was posted to YouTube by a user named Ruyuen McKeel that captures just how fast a peaceful run-in with wildlife can spiral out of control. The footage shows a group of men riding in a truck who come across a bull moose standing on what looks like an isolated road somewhere in North America. Initially, it seems like a stroke of luck, but what starts out as a thrilling moment quickly becomes something none of them could have anticipated.
Yeah, I sent him with the sucker. We knew it was fresh. Yeah. Oh, you keep them go. What are we doing here? Look, he's at a gallop now. 40. Turn around, yes. Oh, he's got a big battle on him. See? Look at the size of it. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna turn on you. That's gorgeous. Come on, sucker, turn.
Right at the start, the atmosphere is nothing but excitement. They watch the moose thunder down the road, marveling at its sheer size and talking about its antlers, with one of the men even letting out a celebratory shout. It has all the makings of one of those unforgettable wildlife moments until the moose abruptly wheels around and everything shifts.
Now we've got an issue. Yep. He's tired. I think I better start back. I can't back up that fast, can I? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's the first time for me. Shit, you pissed him off. Oh, fuck. Holy shit, he came back. I don't know how fast this thing would back up. It better fuck off. Oh, shit. Holy great. Have you ever seen that? No, I've heard stories of putting their hooves through their front windows. That'd be a hard accident report to write up. Yeah. Oh yeah, he'd hurt you. Yeah. Oh shit. You told him to turn around too, it's your fault. Oh, there he goes.
What comes next is genuinely nerve-wracking. The animal comes barreling straight at the truck, forcing the driver to slam it into reverse as the moose charges at them over and over, closing the gap to a frightening distance before finally pulling back. Eventually, it loses interest altogether and wanders back down the road. The truck comes out undamaged and everyone inside escapes without a scratch. But this whole incident serves as a stark reminder of just how unpredictable these animals can be. Because had the driver been even slightly slower to react, this could have had a very different outcome. This clip comes from a channel called Jelly Official, and this guy has a very unique definition of a good time. Rather than seeking out a peaceful, scenic escape, Jelly deliberately tracks down some of Indonesia's most notoriously haunted woodlands, sets up a solo tent, and just sits there waiting for chaos to find him. On this particular occasion, Jelly chooses to spend the night alone deep inside a dense Indonesian forest. He wasn't entirely cut off from civilization. The highway was only about 1 kilometer away, but among the locals, this stretch of woods carries a deeply disturbing reputation. The story goes that a young woman took her own life beneath one of the trees there, and ever since, people in the area claim her unsettled spirit never left. And naturally, because Jelly apparently has no survival instincts whatsoever, that is the precise spot he picks to pitch his tent. He rolls in around 7:30 in the evening. The air feels heavy, and an irritating light drizzle begins to fall. He's got his usual camera set up plus a couple of CCTV units positioned around the perimeter. His expectation was a fairly routine night of creepy sounds and shadows. The forest, however, had something far more hands-on in store for him.
Seperti kayak ada yang ketawa-ketawa, teman-teman. Kayunya patah.
Under normal circumstances, you might chalk that up to the wind, but Jelly starts getting the very real sense that something else is out there with him. On top of that, the drizzle escalates into a full downpour. He retreats into his tent, eyes glued to the monitors, quietly hoping his CCTV units survive the storm long enough to actually capture something. Then, cutting right through the noise of the rain, a voice calls out his name. Now, following a mysterious voice in a pitch-black haunted forest is essentially the top entry on the list of things you should never do. Jelly does it anyway, heading straight toward wherever the sound seems to be coming from. And that's the moment things shift from eerie to outright violent. See for yourself what happened next.
Aduh, astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Aduh. Tanganku kekilir, guys. Aduh, astagfirullahaladzim. Siapa kamu? Aduh. Astagfirullahaladzim. Darahnya temen. Bau banget ini, bau amis. Di sini, teman-teman. Aduh, mana ini? Aduh, ikut lagi. Astagfirullahaladzim. Aduh. Di mana kamu? Tenda dulu, teman-teman. Balik ke tenda. Bahaya ini, guys. Jangan narik aku, guys.
Something physically grabs him and yanks with enough force to send him crashing to the ground, spraining his wrist in the process. As he struggles to pull himself back up, he looks overhead and is met with a truly horrifying sight. A pair of bloody feet suspended in midair, dripping fresh blood down toward him. The second Jelly gets back on his feet, the floating apparition disappears entirely. But the evidence was already on him. His face was coated in a blood-like substance that gave off an absolutely nauseating, rotting smell. Shaken and hurting, he bolts back to his tent. In a moment of desperate improvisation, he grabs his hot coffee and splashes it across his face, using the strong aroma to cut through and overpower that unbearable stench. Recognizing that whatever was out there was aggressive and capable of causing real physical harm, Jelly grabs what he can and gets out of there fast. Now, if you or I had been dragged to the dirt by something invisible and watched a pair of bloody feet hover above our heads, a forest would probably never feel safe again. But Jelly is wired differently. A few weeks go by, and his comment section is absolutely erupting, with viewers relentlessly urging him to head back and see the investigation through. And because he's a man of the people, or possibly just someone with an extraordinary tolerance for danger, he agrees to return to that exact same forest. The spirit probably wasn't counting on a follow-up visit, but Jelly was ready to deliver one. He arrives back at the site in the late afternoon and pitches his tent in the very same location where the attack happened weeks earlier. To keep his nerves from getting the better of him, he gets a campfire going. He had planned on cooking a proper meal of traditional fried rice, but in time-honored camping fashion, he discovered he'd left behind all the cooking oil and seasoning. His elaborate dinner ended up being plain white rice and crackers. And honestly, if the entity didn't finish him off, the sheer bleakness of that meal might have. While he's sitting by the fire, contentedly working through his depressing little dinner, a strange sound slices through the darkness.
Kok kayak ada yang nyapu, teman-teman? Seperti ada yang lagi nyapu halaman, guys, kedengeran. Bener kan, dari arah sebelah sana, teman-teman. Ya, dari arah sebelah sana. Masa iya sih ada yang nyapu?
A sweeping sound, like someone dragging a broom across dry leaves, coming from the middle of an untamed forest. Jelly, being the absolute unit that he is, essentially shrugs it off and keeps eating. Priorities, after all. But come 10 p.m., things take a much stranger turn. Here's what the cameras picked up.
Kursinya baru sekitar jam 10 malam dan ini 11
Shortly after that, as he attempts to get some rest, a sharp, unsettling laughter begins echoing out from somewhere deep in the brush. Once again, he crawls out of his tent, flashlight in hand, pushing into the thick trees toward the sound. It's a genuinely terrible decision, but his curiosity never loses. When he comes up empty in the woods, he makes his way back toward camp, and as he gets close to his tent, a terrifying shape is sitting right there inside his campsite.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Dalam tenda apa, teman-teman? Siapa kamu? Itu dalam tenda. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Siapa kamu? Wah, Allah, rambut semua, teman-teman, itu seperti rambut semua. Astagfirullah. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Ya Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Itu dia, teman-teman. Itu apaan, teman-teman? Kamu yang ninggal di sini? Ya, ada kepalanya. Astagfirullahaladzim. Kepalanya nggak ada, teman-teman. Kepalanya nggak ada. Kepalanya nggak ada. Mau busuk. Kepalanya mana, teman-teman? Nggak ada. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Before he even has a moment to process what he's seeing, a rustling erupts from directly behind the tent. He unzips the rear flap and comes face to face with it.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Coba kita pegang, teman-teman, darah semua, guys. Astagfirullahaladzim. Kalian dengarkan, teman-teman? Kemana, teman-teman? Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Gila, hilang cepet banget ya, makhluk halus. Astagfirullahaladzim, la quwata illa billah. Mana?
As Jelly's hand draws within inches of the floating leg, his arm suddenly locks up and cramps with an intense heaviness. At that same instant, a deafening shriek tears through the forest, and the entity disappears without a trace. Jelly is left standing there, soaked in cold sweat and visibly shaking. He pulls up his CCTV footage to confirm the cameras actually caught what just happened, then settles back into his tent to wait and see whether the entity decides to make another appearance. Mercifully, the forest stays quiet for the rest of the night. For Jelly, this location ranks among the most genuinely threatening and physically aggressive haunted sites he has ever encountered. Now, with any paranormal footage, a reasonable amount of skepticism is always warranted. Could it be an elaborate setup, a friend in a costume, some fishing line, clever camera work? Absolutely, that's always on the table. And even if you assume some of it is theatrical, there's still a different kind of nerve required to do what this guy does night after night. But I want to hear what you think. Do you believe Jelly actually came into physical contact with a restless spirit, or did he just deliver a masterclass in low-budget supernatural storytelling? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Meet Graham and Ellie, the duo behind Wizard in the Wild, a channel dedicated to off-grid campervan adventures where they share their life on the road inside their beloved van, Merlin. Their content is typically known for stunning scenery and the quiet charm of van living, but a trip in late October 2022 took a deeply unsettling direction. Following a stormy stay on the Isle of Arran, they crossed back to the Scottish mainland and made their way toward a secluded wild camping spot close to Ardrossan.
Welcome to our Isle of Arran off-grid tour. At the end of October 2022, we set off for Arran. We were full of expectation and excitement. We encountered wind and rain, so much rain, flooded park-ups, delayed ferries, and of course, the absolute disaster at the end of the tour. Join us as we tell our story. When you left us last time, we'd just boarded the ferry and we were heading back to Ardrossan on the Scottish mainland. There were some gorgeous views out over the sea in the moonlight. We were soon back in Merlin and heading for our wild camp spot that we'd picked nearby in Ardrossan.
What should have been a short drive ended in surprise when they discovered a massive fun fair set up directly in front of their planned location. The bright lights and noise instantly made them uneasy, turning what was meant to be a peaceful stop into something far more concerning.
Unbeknown to us, right in front of where we were going to wild camp, as this massive fun fair has been set up, we started to set off a few alarm bells in our minds. The Search for Sites reviews of this place were all pretty good, but it began to look a bit worrying to us.
I don't really think I'm liking the look of this place, Gray.
The presence of a fairground nearby combined with the risk of getting locked in overnight, made them quickly rule it out. Choosing a more reliable option, they drove back to Troon in search of a calmer evening away from the chaos. But Troon offered them anything but rest. Parked at the far end of the lot, they'd hoped for some tranquility, only to be battered by relentless wind and driving rain. Then, around 6 in the morning, the local sawmill fired up and added yet more noise to an already sleepless night.
We know what that place was like. It should be a bit quieter there.
So this is us again at Troon. This time we've tried to park up the far end of the parking area, away from the sawmill a bit. Hopefully it'll be quieter.
So this one didn't have a very good night. We had wind, we had rain, and then at about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Despite the rough conditions, they pushed through it, appreciating the dramatic coastal views across the grey Scottish morning. As the hours wore on, the weather deteriorated further, with powerful waves hammering the shoreline.
So, we've got dual aspect big waves. Pretty dramatic, isn't it, hey? That is pretty dramatic looking at that.
The weather's taken a turn for the worse. I'm rather glad we're not crossing over from...
This was their final full day in Scotland, and with a long haul home now unavoidable, the journey ahead felt daunting. Breaking the trip into stages had become essential. Rather than optional, the night before, a calm moonlit sea had seemed promising, but conditions had steadily worsened as the hours ticked by.
The moon was out and the sea was flat. I got some lovely film of that.
Yeah. And then it just got...
The rough night had meant their dog Luna had barely managed to sleep, and as a result, neither had Graham nor Ellie. After weighing their options carefully, they settled on Henshaw Lane Car Park in Dunham Massey as an overnight stop, hoping it would give them the rest they desperately needed before the final leg home.
Deliberation. We found this place in Dunham Massey. It's a place called Henshaw Lane Car Park. So the end of our trip to Arran's.
They made solid progress on the road, squeezing in a quick Burger King lunch before pulling into Henshaw Lane just as the light was fading. The evening wound down pleasantly enough, with some food and television before they turned in for the night.
We've gone for a Burger King today. We've just stopped at a service station. We're getting a bit hungry.
Yeah.
So we got ourselves to the Henshaw Lane Car Park, which was the search for sites location that we'd chosen. And we did arrive just as it was getting dark, so we didn't have a chance to look around. But yeah, we had a nice evening, watching some telly, eating a bit of food.
But in the small hours, that peaceful sleep was shattered in an instant. They were jolted awake by a thunderous bang, followed immediately by the sound of shattering glass. 2 bricks had been hurled at Merlin, smashing through the side window and cracking the windscreen. Terror took hold as the reality of what had just happened sank in.
Believe it. We've just been woken up with a loud bang, and you dropped something on the floor there. Or was that glass? 2 bricks. And someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while he was sleeping. We heard this really loud boom, 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 boom music, because we think it was just boy racers. And suddenly the music went quiet, and it was just loud bang, and Graham reckons there was 2 of them, because the bricks hit the...
Graham managed to survey the damage, but the prospect of driving 200-mile home with a broken window and a compromised windscreen was deeply daunting. Suspecting local boy racers were responsible, the couple were left in a state of shock. In the pouring rain, they scrambled to secure the van as best they could, using black bags and gorilla tape to patch over the damage and hoping it would hold together for the journey ahead.
Falling down in the door.
Just trying to stop it getting any worse.
Yeah. They're moving on to, they had some black bags and some gorilla tape, so we've, Graham's taped up the windows. I'm just hoping that it...
Shaken to their core, their only focus was getting away from that place as quickly as possible. What should have been a drive of under 3 hours stretched into an exhausting 5.5, with them anxiously watching the makeshift repairs the entire way.
We'll probably stop up the road and make a cup of tea or something, but for now we just want to go.
In the end, the journey that should have taken just something like just under 3 hours took over a car.
They made it home in daylight and wasted no time contacting both the police and their insurance company. At first, Graham and Ellie swore they would never go near Henshaw Lane again, the trauma of the night having left a real mark on them. But eventually they felt the need to face it head on and return to the scene.
That we never ever wanted to go anywhere near this place again. But over time we felt that we did have some demons that we needed to deal with. So that's what this visit is all about now. We've arrived at, I was going to call it our nemesis, but that's not the right word, is it?
Nemesis car park.
Henshaw Lane car park. This is where Merlin got bricked. The last time we were here it was raining about 1:30 a.m. and Merlin had just had brick.
Revisiting what they'd come to call their nemesis, they reflected on the fear that had consumed them that night. In the daylight, the car park looked completely ordinary, calm and unremarkable, with nothing to hint at what had unfolded there. Yet the memory of the attack never fully faded. They pointed out how concealed the entrance was, making it straightforward for anyone to cause damage and disappear without being seen.
It's there. That's the entrance to the car park. So you can see how people can come and do some damage to the van and then quickly.
Confronting the location gave them a degree of closure, but they made clear they would never spend a night there again or point other travelers in its direction. The whole experience served as a stark reminder of just how misleading appearances can be. Ultimately, trusting their gut got them out in one piece, leaving behind only a damaged van and a sobering lesson that even the most unremarkable spots can harbor genuine danger. The YouTube channel My Backyard Birding has built its reputation on tranquil daytime footage, peaceful woodland trails, birdsong, and the gentle ambiance of nature doing its thing. But on this particular occasion, deep within the Great Smoky Mountains, that familiar calm was shattered by something that had no business being there. The sun was fully up, casting light across every branch and leaf, yet something deeply unsettling began weaving its way through the trees. It stood out immediately, far from the gentle atmosphere regular viewers had grown accustomed to. The noise initially came across as almost industrial, like some distant piece of machinery grinding against itself. It was rigid and wrong-sounding, and that alone was enough to raise eyebrows. There were no work sites, no running engines, no equipment of any kind in that part of the Smokies, nothing that could reasonably explain what was being heard. Then, almost without warning, the sound began to change. That hard, metallic quality faded and gave way to something lower and stranger. A haunting, almost vocal character started to surface, as if whatever was responsible wasn't purely mechanical at all, as if it was reaching towards something alive, producing a sound the forest had simply never encountered before. The calls pushed through the trees with what felt like real intention. These weren't random bursts of noise. They seemed aimed, deliberate, like an announcement of presence rather than an accident of nature. The fact that all of this unfolded in the middle of the day, with full visibility and nowhere to hide, only made it more deeply unsettling. The theories have been flying ever since. Some people think it's an animal straining far beyond its normal vocal range. Others point to unusual acoustics bouncing off a distant ridgeline. And then there are those who believe the Smoky Mountains may be sheltering things, creatures, or phenomena that science hasn't caught up with yet. So what do you make of it? A glitching machine? Some unidentified forest dweller? Or something altogether stranger, slipping silently between the trees just out of frame? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. He's already partway through making camp when it hits him. Something tore his tent apart at this very spot once before. The light is fading, the forest is waterlogged, and he's about to discover whether whatever was responsible has stuck around. And trust me, it doesn't get better from here. Tonight's fourth entry comes from Exploring with Bear, a solo wilderness channel that mixes bushcraft skills with cryptid investigation. Bear has returned to a flooded forest location where on a previous visit, an unknown force, or possibly an unknown person, completely destroyed his tent. Most people would cross a location like that off the list the moment their equipment got wrecked. Not Bear, he's out here planting bait apples and positioning thermal cameras. The footage kept going. April 17th, 2026, deep flooded woodland somewhere in the USA.
To another camping adventure. If you're new to the channel, I'm Bear. Now tonight, I'm about to set up camp here, and this is probably in the definitely top 5 scariest places that I've ever camped. What I did not realize was how flooded it was going to be. Everything is just super duper flooded. But even though everything is super duper soaking wet, I got something special for you. I'm going to start tonight's fire with a pickle. I also brought a couple apples to leave for Bigfoot and a thermal imaging camera that we're going to be running tonight and see if we can't spot any.
Wood knocks roll through the tree line, a calculated rhythm meant to draw something out, and heavy, deliberate footsteps answer back from just beyond the camp. Something substantial is moving through the dark, closing in on the call.
Something breathing really hard. It was almost like whimpering, but it was solid breath at the same time. So we're like, phew.
Then comes the sound of something right at the edge of camp. Close, heavy, and there's more than one of them. It all clicks at once. Panic takes over. Bear drops everything mid-setup and makes a run for the vehicle.
What is that behind that tree? Watch. Oh, there was a... what are you doing? I don't know if that just came up on camera. That was a huge breath, right? Like I said, I don't know if that just came up on camera, but that was a huge...
The camp left behind when he needed it most, the truck becoming a refuge the second the tree line felt threatening. Coincidence? Maybe. But deep in flooded woods like these, you start drawing lines between things that might have no connection at all. Or maybe every line is exactly right. There's not enough money in the world to get me back to a site where my gear had already been destroyed once. A woman out hiking with her German Shepherd, Leo, had a chilling experience when the dog's demeanor shifted without warning. Rather than pressing on down the trail, Leo suddenly stopped dead, his hackles rose, his tail dropped, and his gaze locked onto something deep in the tree line. His owner couldn't immediately figure out whether he'd picked up on an animal or a lurking stranger, and she was seriously weighing up whether to call the police. Then, within moments, a man stepped out from the trees, wearing tattered clothes and carrying a coil of rope and a backpack, and walked right past them without so much as a glance in their direction. Fortunately, nothing came of it, and the remaining miles of their hike went by without any further trouble. Even so, the whole experience served as a stark reminder that your dog can sense something is off long before you ever do. Halloween night 2022, Rick, the man behind the channel Rick in his van, set out to explore a stretch of woodland near his home that had developed a reputation for paranormal activity. His plan was simple: camp overnight in a remote common area and track down an abandoned church said to be hidden somewhere in the trees. What began as a fun, spooky night out would spiral into something far more sinister once he realized he wasn't alone out there. Rick pulled up to the common just as the sun was going down. With nothing but a flashlight and his camera, he pushed deeper into the woods in search of a mysterious tin church that locals had long whispered about.
Right, I don't know how well this is going to come out on camera. I am in the woods now. Let's see where we're going. This isn't coming out very well. No idea where on earth I'm going. I'm just going to follow the, well, pathway. I wish there was a path. Let's just go this way. Let's see where we're going. Right. I mean, this is ridiculous. I've got no idea where I'm going. Oh, there's a gate. Let me go through here. Oh, hello. What's that? What is that in the woods there? Look, what's that? Oh, I think I found the church. That was easy. Ah, it's not a gate. That is a fence. Ah, there's the church.
Yeah, that's definitely a church. The Upper Itching Benefice Church sat completely cut off from the outside world, swallowed on all sides by thick, dense forest. A small graveyard surrounded the building, with a few scattered chairs dotting the clearing, and, oddly enough, a shovel propped up against one of the headstones. A notice pinned near the entrance indicated the church was still in active use, with a service coming up on December 10th. After poking around the church, Rick turned back toward where he parked. That's when something stopped him cold. Movement near the fence line, right where he'd left his camera gimbal unattended.
What is that? Hello? Hello? Hang on. Did you see that? Or was that just me? There's my gimbal. I left my gimbal there. Swear. This me. Oh, there was someone standing there. There was someone standing right here. I swear to God, there was someone standing right here by my gimbal. Right. Right, that's freaked me out a little bit, so I'm just gonna go. Shut up. Right, I'm not joking you, that's just slammed itself shut. Right, I'm locking that up, I'm getting out of it. I can't lock it. I'm locking that. There's my gimbal.
Shaken, Rick grabbed his gear and wasted no time getting back to the van.
I'm getting out of here. I did not like that noise. Right, where am I going? I can't even see where I'm going. Right, that was weird. I don't even know which way I come now. I'm gonna go this way. I'll follow this way.
By 11 o'clock, he was locked inside with the doors shut. Reviewing the footage he'd shot in the woods, his unease turned into something heavier. The recording clearly showed a figure standing close to where his gimbal had been left. It wasn't ambiguous. Someone had been there. He tried to settle in and get some rest, but at 1 a.m., he was yanked out of sleep by the unmistakable sound of someone pulling at his door handles. That was enough.
What is it? 1 o'clock in the morning, and I swear blind, I just got woken up by someone trying the van door handles. There was a knock. There was definitely a knock. Someone was trying the van door handles as well. I'm going to turn the lights out. Someone was trying the van door handles. Okay. I heard a car pull up. There's definitely a car pulled up outside. I'm gonna have a look. Well, that was weird. I opened the van doors and then within a minute there was a car reversing up and it's just driven off. So it's all quiet out there now, so I'm just going to try and get myself back to sleep. I don't know who they were, but we're all locked up, so we're safe. They can't get in, hence why they were knocking. So I'm going to roll over and I'm going to try and get back to sleep because it's 1:45 now, so try again. All right. Right, it's happening again. I can't believe this. Let me turn the lights on. I've heard that car come back. And it's what? 2:45 now. That van's come back. Well, that car's come back. That 4x4 vehicle. I can't hear anyone. I can't hear anyone talking outside. There we go. There we go. Right. Literally haven't slept. This. I am going home. They've driven off again. I didn't even look out. I just peered through my curtains that I've got up. Through the curtains there, I can see outside, and it's driven off again. I don't know if this is anywhere I shouldn't be parked, but I'm going. I'm not staying here anymore. I've sat here quietly for half an hour. I heard them go. Oh, what a waste of a video.
Tired as he was, and despite having planned to stick it out until morning, Rick wasn't about to wait around and find out what a third visit might look like. He climbed up front, started the engine, and drove away from the common in the dead of night. It was the right call. Staying would have meant being there when whoever it was came back again. The figure caught on camera near the church was real. The rattling of the van doors was real. The vehicle that kept coming back was real. This had nothing to do with ghosts or Halloween nerves. Someone had been deliberately tracking Rick through those woods that night, and getting out of there when he did may well have saved him from something far worse. 6:30 p.m. As twilight settles over the woodland site, the investigators arrive and begin setting up. The spirit box is primed, the night cameras are already running. They figure they have just enough time to get everything in place before anything makes itself known. But Kingwell Towers operates on its own schedule. Here's what unfolded from that point on. Tonight's third clip comes from Beyond the Paranormal Veil, an official UK paranormal channel and podcast team who explore haunted forests, derelict ruins, and ancient fortresses throughout Great Britain. Investigators Debbie and Carol are accompanied on this occasion by Leela, Pearl, and Luke. A stretch of woodland tied to crumbling tower ruins is precisely the kind of environment where your equipment starts answering questions nobody asked. The cameras never stopped rolling. July 12th, 2026.
It's gone dusk now. Darkness won't be long, I'd say about, 40 minutes or so, if that. But we have been joined by some fellow paranormal enthusiasts. And this young lady, Layla, bless her, is currently doing the Estes method. And she's not heard a word as such yet, but she has heard a bell. Now, just to debunk, before Beardo gets scared, attacks me and comes after me and debunks, I did put the spirit music box down round about the same time Layla heard this bell. So it could have been that, I don't know. As usual, we shall leave it all up to you to decide. And then, literally 5 minutes ago, our other guest heard like the noise as though somebody stepped off all these. Well, it's like brush.
Pearl is the first one to catch it. Rapid, pounding footsteps moving along the trail somewhere above them. Within seconds, a heavy metallic clanging reverberates through the trees, something wooden striking something metal. The entire team goes still.
Good word it said this afternoon. Dread. Dread. Got it on my phone.
Really, really heavy.
What's your name? Pearl. What a lovely name. Hi, Pearl. I'm Deb. Hi. I'll put you on YouTube and not you know your name, my love. You'll be famous. What's your other half's name?
Luke.
Luke. Hi, Luke.
Total darkness now, moving by touch alone. Then right behind them, a clear and unmistakable disembodied shushing sound cuts through the silence. Debbie's response is the only reasonable one. She firmly scolds the invisible presence for its lack of courtesy.
We've been hearing some footsteps on the edge of these trees
and then a little hedgehog appeared. Now, I'm sorry, a hedgehog doesn't make man-sized footprints, crunchy footprints. So if there's, and I don't like those trees, I don't know why. What's just shook this? Carol, are you moving your... What the... Did you just move? No. Does it look as though I moved? Fucking tent's doing this. Fucking tent's moving. Oh, fucking hell. And I'm laid in it. What? Is he there? If you're there, come out.
Squinting toward the tree line, Debbie makes out a figure, a dark male silhouette, standing motionless among the trees. Almost simultaneously, a brilliant white shape streaks rapidly across the top of the tent.
Building. Oh, that's 60 foot deep. Yeah. All the way down. Give me heebie-jeebies just standing near this edge. Ooh. There's cars down there. Can you see it? No, because they're that close. Oh, I can just see it. We're good. Car's still there waiting patiently for us. And there's the steps down. I don't want to go back down them steps.
They retreat inside the tent for safety, but the metallic banging starts up again close by. Quick skittering footsteps press right up against the outside of the fabric wall. It's genuinely terrifying. Both investigators agree there's no chance of sleeping. After 9 grueling hours of relentless disembodied sounds, physical impacts against the tent, and unexplained visual phenomena, Debbie and Carol remain awake until nearly 3 a.m. Acknowledging how frightened they are, and with Carol suffering significant hip pain, they pack their gear in complete darkness and walk out, cutting short what became one of the most deeply unsettling overnight investigations they've ever conducted. Kingwell Towers ticked every single box on the paranormal checklist. Personally, I don't think I would have lasted past that first impact on the tent, but that's a different conversation. What drives someone to walk into a forest with a reputation for disappearances without so much as a reliable light source? For these two, it comes down to a burning need to find out whether the stories hold any truth. But the moment your phone goes dark, your meter starts screaming, and the forest begins screaming back. Suddenly finding out is the very last thing you want. And it only gets darker from here. A drizzly, fog-covered morning on February 10th, 2024. The kind that seems completely unremarkable. That impression wouldn't last long. At the center of our story is a YouTuber you may already be familiar with. Gaz, the man behind the channel Grizzly Gaz, where he brings his audience along for rugged camping adventures and deep dives into the unsettling histories of remote woodlands. Cool-headed and naturally skeptical, Gaz is the type who welcomes a challenge without hesitation. But what unfolded this particular night would push even someone like him to his breaking point. As darkness closes in, Gaz goes through his usual routine, pitching camp, getting a fire going, and cooking up a meal. Everything feels calm, almost suspiciously so. He settles back into his hammock, taking in the soft sounds of the surrounding forest. Then that stillness is broken without warning.
It took me ages to suss that out. What the fuck's that noise?
Eerie sounds begin reverberating around him, a appearing to come from every direction at once. He sweeps his gaze across the darkness and finds nothing. The unsettling silence creeps back in, and Gaz holds his position for a full 15 minutes, telling himself it's probably nothing. What he doesn't realize is that the worst is still ahead of him. Worn out, Gaz heads into his tent and tries to get some sleep, but the forest isn't finished with him yet.
We're gonna chill out now, and I'll see you in the morning.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
Just as he begins to drift off, the disturbances start up again, branches cracking and a distinct sound of footsteps, as though something is making deliberate laps around his camp.
Holy fuck. What the fuck is that? What the fuck?
There's a heaviness to the air now, almost like a signal to be afraid. Even the birds, jolted from their sleep, burst into loud, frantic calls that only add to the dread.
Oh, come on, someone's fucking with us.
Gaz suspects something isn't right. It feels like someone is toying with him deliberately. But who would venture this far into the wilderness just to mess with a solo camper?
What the fuck?
Then a deep, threatening growl rumbles out from somewhere in the trees, uncomfortably close to where he's sleeping. Any doubt evaporates. Gaz is not out here alone. The fabric walls of his tent suddenly feel like almost nothing standing between him and whatever is lurking outside. Steeling himself, he climbs out to take a look, and that's when everything shifts. An arrow cuts through the air right past him, missing by a terrifyingly slim margin. He shouts out into the dark, and what comes back is dead silence.
I know it's someone fucking with me. Got a big dog here. And a nice knife with your name on it. What the fuck? Fuck, is it just wind or what?
Gaz tries to rationalize it. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe his nerves are getting the better of him.
I think my mind's playing tricks on me.
He crawls back inside, rattled but holding it together.
Kept hearing twigs breaking or branches breaking. You alright, mate? It's alright, chill out. And I heard it sounded like a pig, but we ain't got any pigs over here.
But the moment he starts to settle, things take an even darker turn.
Hi, I can hear you. What the fuck?
The the sound of someone sprinting away from the campsite rings out as Gaz calls into the night, sending a cold wave through him. It's undeniable now. Somebody had been hiding in the shadows this entire time. Gaz doesn't sleep another minute, lying awake until sunrise with his thoughts spinning. The second daylight arrives. He breaks camp and gets out of those woods, leaving whatever sinister secrets they hold far behind him. Bill chose an isolated backcountry location to sleep in his car, far removed from any other soul. As darkness settled in, the quiet around him began to feel wrong. A deep vibration rose up from the earth, then came a series of sharp cracks, like something massive breaking through the underbrush. After that, a dragging sound, as though something was pulling itself just beyond his door. His night vision camera picked up nothing but darkness, yet the growl he heard was undeniably real. By the time morning arrived, the tree line had gone still again, but Will couldn't shake what that night had done to him. He'd gone out there to capture something worth watching, and instead found himself trapped inside a story he never got to finish. On October 17th, 2023, a YouTuber by the name of Dokwa headed out into the woods for a camping trip. Early in the morning, he went to unzip his tent, and what he found on the other side was the last thing he expected. He quickly yanked the zipper shut, but it was already too late. The bear had locked eyes on him. Whether the animal was merely curious, feeling playful, or sizing him up as a genuine threat, there was no way for him to know. What he did know was that it wasn't going anywhere, and he was stuck inside a thin tent with absolutely no way out. The most chilling thing about that footage isn't actually the bear itself. It's the second he pulls that zipper closed, because now he's hidden from view. But the bear already knows he's in there. A tent can't mask your scent, it can't drown out the sound of your breathing or your pounding heart. That animal could pinpoint exactly where he was and exactly how terrified he was. He walked away from this encounter, sure, but his survival came down to sheer fortune. Had that bear truly wanted to cause harm, a thin sheet of nylon fabric was never going to stand in its way. In February 2004, Michael Lacombe had set up camp somewhere near Fresno, California, looking forward to a relaxing weekend out in the wilderness. He had his phone out and was recording the calm scenery around him. Then, without warning, a bizarre animal cry rang out from a hill close by. Intrigued, he swung his camera in the direction of the noise, and what he saw next stopped him cold.
What shape up there? What the hell is that? Oh my God. That ain't right. It's like a wolf, but holy crap. I don't think I should be up here.
Michael insisted the creature he'd spotted didn't resemble any animal he could identify. The problem is, the footage looks like it was shot through a layer of fog and regret, leaving us absolutely no closer to figuring out exactly what was lurking out there that day. September 28th, 2023, Kaibab National Forest, Arizona. Chelsea Grimm, 32 years old, was 4 days into a solo photography project along Route 66, living out of a converted Kia Rio. Her setup was bare bones, a plywood sleeping platform, a sleeping bag, bear spray, and a road atlas. That particular night, she pulled off near a hilltop cemetery on the outskirts of Williams, Arizona. Her plan was simple: grab some eerie shots ahead of Halloween season. Body cam footage captures a patrol officer making contact around midnight. Chelsea climbs out of the Kia holding a Polaroid camera, pillows and a quilt clearly visible through the rear window, making her overnight intentions obvious. When the officer asks about her situation, she calls it free camping. The deputy expresses concern about the area being unsafe for a woman traveling alone. She stays composed, pointing to the bear spray on her hip. That moment was the last confirmed sighting of Chelsea Grimm. 6 days afterward, her vehicle turned up 26 miles further into the forest along the well-known boondocking spur road. There was no collision damage, no signs of forced entry. Both rear tires had been punctured, yet all of her belongings were exactly as she'd left them. Bed undisturbed, camping stove stowed, everything in order. The car looked as though someone had simply settled in for the night. A Polaroid of the cemetery was found sitting on the passenger seat. Investigators flagged something troubling about it. Just behind a fence post, a second indistinct figure appeared, one that nobody in the body cam footage or the officer's written report could account for. Search dogs traced Chelsea's scent heading northwest before losing it entirely at a dry wash, leading investigators to believe she may have been carried or moved by vehicle. Her cell phone registered a single ping at 1:17 a.m., approximately 5 miles from the cemetery. After that, nothing. Chelsea Grimm disappeared sometime after 1 in the morning, somewhere between a roadside cemetery and a secluded forest pull-off. No remains have ever been recovered. No witnesses have ever come forward. Tonight's fifth clip comes from Wayne Outdoors, a UK-based channel where a guy named Dwayne has turned stealth camping into something close to a discipline. He hunts down locations nobody else would consider sleeping in. Thick forest, derelict buildings, places where the dark feels like it has actual mass. While most people hear a creepy story and reach for the remote, this man grabs a trail camera and a sleeping bag. Here's what he came home with. The date is October 24th, 2022. Deep, isolated woodland, somewhere in the United Kingdom.
An old bloke who was telling me a lot of things about what was up in this fucking wood. Hear that? No, we talked to a bloke up there, and I thought you were gamekeeper, deer stalker, hat on dog, patterdale, walking stick. No, apparently he's not. He just told me some great stories about round here. And I told him I'm camping like, and he says, yeah, you'll be alright. And he told me about this place in here where there's all these plastic chairs, and they used to go down here praying, right, when they couldn't go to church. And I says, that's where I'm camping like, where they've all been praying. And it's just the so I asked him like, is it alright if I camp like? He says, yeah, you'll be alright. Fucking hellfire, here we go. Right, I'm gonna get tent up, it's getting dark. See you in a bit. I don't know if you can see it like, but that's them chairs. There. Right, I'm gonna get tent up. Fucking peasants are out. See you in a bit. Get tent up. Right, all set up now. Tent's up, bedding's up. Trail cameras out, sorry. Let's see what tonight brings. It's 7 o'clock. Time for some food.
Before the light fades completely, he crosses paths with a local, an elderly man who tells him about a church group that once gathered down here to pray. Plastic chairs still dangling from the branches overhead. Wayne takes it in, gives a nod, and sets up his tent regardless. By 7 in the evening, the darkness has fully closed in, his camp is unlit, and the trail camera is rolling on pure silence. The kind of silence that starts to feel less like peace and more like something holding its breath.
It's right close, that. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Whatever approaches doesn't sneak, it moves with intention, heavy footfalls crashing through the undergrowth, close enough that the tent fabric might as well be a wall between him and it. Wayne's voice drops to a frantic whisper. Did you hear that? It's really close. Did you hear it? He presses his face to the mesh and spots them. Shapes drifting through the black tree line, torchlight slicing hard beams between the trunks, moving directly toward him with total confidence. His camp is dark and concealed, yet they're near enough that he can make out their voices.
That was interesting last night. People up down here with torches. People in woods. Didn't see no gobbledygooks though, now. I think it's about 7:45 now. So, I'm just about packed up, just got tent to drop. I'll check my trail cam, no it's on there, so I'll go back down there now, drop my tent, and I'll have a chat with you before I sign off. I'll see you in a little bit. That's where I was last night. The saying goes, leaving the shit. I love another chat way when I get onto a path out the outside of the wood. A bit dark in here. So that's the haunted woodland camp done. Not really went off though, to be honest. Just people with torches last night. People walking through the wood. Didn't see me though. So yeah, I just thought I'd do something a little bit different. Try to put a bit better content in. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, stick us a comment in, and same as always.
The morning brings answers that only raise more questions. As he breaks down camp at 7:45 a.m., Wayne pieces together what the darkness had kept from him. A group of people had been moving along the woodland path carrying torches, speaking in what he calls gobbledygook, some language he simply couldn't identify. They had passed within feet of his tent without any idea he was lying there. The same darkness that kept him hidden from them had kept them hidden from him, right up until they were already far too close. He went looking for the old man on his way out, hoping to ask about the church group, the nighttime visitors, and whether there was any thread connecting the two, whether the word haunted referred to something supernatural, or just to people doing things out here they'd rather nobody witnessed. He never found the old man. What started as a nerve test against local legend finished as a reminder of how little you really know about who else is out there in the dark with you. There is no amount of money that would get me into a campsite the locals have already warned you away from. But then, I'm not Wayne. That one had a very particular, very British kind of strangeness to it. A YouTuber who goes by Under the Weather decided to go on a solo camping trip in a remote part of Scotland back in 2023. He pitched his tent between a pair of small streams, figuring the running water on both sides would deter any wildlife from getting too close. But once darkness fell and he settled in for the night, something out there jolted him awake, and he had absolutely no idea what he was dealing with.
Hello? Hello?
He armed himself and stepped outside to drive whatever it was away, but nothing he tried seemed to make a difference. Then, the following morning, as he was breaking camp, he came across something odd sitting just a short distance from his tent, and it made everything that had happened the night before feel even stranger.
These.
A quiet solo fishing outing took a dramatic turn the moment a massive fin broke the surface right next to the kayak. If you found yourself alone out at sea with a great white shark circling your vessel, do you think you'd keep your composure long enough to get back to safety? On October 22nd, 2025, the YouTube channel Die Hard Fishing posted some deeply unsettling footage captured during a solo kayak excursion in the Bay Area.
We're doing some live bait fishing, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to see how long I can get, or how quickly I can get out there, catch a limit of lingcod, and come back right here on the beach. So right now it is 7:42. So let's start the timer, get out there, and go catch some fish.
The angler had paddled offshore to a reef in pursuit of lingcod. Once he arrived at his spot, he dropped a live snelt all the way down to the bottom. Within just a few minutes, he managed to hook and pull up a solid 27-inch lingcod. He then started bleeding the fish out over the side of his kayak. Not long after that, he glanced out across the water and spotted something that instantly turned the whole trip on its head.
Oh my god, a great white right here. Huge great white right here. He is just chilling, swimming in a circle here. I don't know if it's best to just stay or start moving, but I think we're gonna start moving. He's circling, that's for sure. He's just chilling right here. Look at this guy. Oh my god. Okay, I don't really like the way he's going here. Oh, that's a big shark. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh, that's a big shark. Well, I'm not sure if he's following me. He was following me, not really aggressively, but he was behind me for a little while. Man, that gets your heart racing, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick him up. I think you might actually see him on the camera before I saw him, because he came from over here like this, and his fin was out of the water at that point. But there's some kayakers over here. I'm gonna go kind of give them a heads up. There's a shark out here. Just want to give all the kayakers a heads up. Saw a shark out here. Thinking about it, that shark was probably drawn in because I was just bleeding that fish. And I had just put that fish in my cooler right before that shark came by. So he might have, I don't know, he definitely smelled the blood. Yeah, I guess that's the downside to bleeding your fish out here. I don't think he's following me. Probably a little bit intimidated with the size, but that shark was definitely as big.
A great white shark had come to the surface right alongside the kayak. It began making slow, deliberate circles around him. Die Hard clocked it fast and stayed remarkably composed, even as the massive creature kept passing within arm's reach of his tiny vessel. Rather than panicking or thrashing around, he calmly and steadily started making his way toward the shoreline. His plan was that putting some distance between himself and the fishing spot might cause the shark to lose interest and move on. For a little while, the shark trailed behind him. It didn't appear to be acting aggressively, but its sheer size and proximity made the whole situation genuinely terrifying. The animal looked roughly as long as the kayak itself, maybe even bigger. Die Hard kept paddling until he finally reached water he felt safe in. Remarkably, despite everything that had just happened, he still managed to reel in one last fish before calling it a day. The video is a stark reminder of just how exposed you really are when you're out on the water alone in a kayak. With almost nothing between him and the open ocean, even a shark that was simply curious could have turned into a life-threatening situation in a matter of seconds. Bleeding a fish releases chemical signals that travel through the water and can draw in nearby predators. That said, the shark may have had no aggressive intentions whatsoever and was simply checking things out. So what do you think pulled it toward the kayak in the first place? And would you have kept fishing after an encounter like that? Man behind the YouTube channel Wild Happiness documents his experiences surviving in some of the most unforgiving corners of the natural world. His content largely revolves around fishing, hunting, and living completely off the grid deep in the wilderness. For this particular video, shot toward the tail end of winter, he took his snowmobile deep into the taiga, covering dozens of miles before finding a suitable place to make camp. He recorded the whole setup process in detail, clearing away snow, getting his tent secured, gathering and stacking wood, and preparing himself for a night entirely disconnected from the outside world. Right as he was winding down for the night and switched his camera off, he suddenly picked up the sound of something moving through the snow just outside his tent. It was 2 a.m. He pushed outside to figure out what or who might be prowling around his shelter.
Друзья, спокойной ночи. Короче, друзья, блин, я же слышу. Капец, реально волки, друзья. Во-во-во, прям вообще хорошо слышно. Да ну нафиг, я, короче, домой.
That's when the howling and snarling of an entire wolf pack started reverberating through the pitch-black forest. The atmosphere was nothing short of terrifying. After letting a few colorful words slip into the camera, he concluded that the smartest move was to stay tucked inside his tent and wait it out until daylight. The pack had clearly caught wind of him, and the threat of an attack was very real. Somewhere deep in the Alaskan backcountry, a solo homesteader who goes by Girl in the Woods was filming her journey to construct a remote log cabin entirely on her own. With nothing but dense black spruce forest surrounding her, and no help for miles, she spent her days felling trees, clearing ground, and establishing a temporary tent camp. Her dogs, her only companions.
Here we go. Well, here I am at my log pile in Alaska. These are the logs that I cut, peeled, and stacked 2 years ago. So they are thoroughly dry and ready to go. And I'm sure you're all wondering, when am I going to build this thing? Well, because my mom was at the end of her life.
The daylight hours felt calm. After dark was a different story. Somewhere around 3 a.m, she was snapped out of sleep by slow, heavy footsteps, moving deliberately through her campsite. The pace wasn't frantic. There was no sign of fear. Whatever was out there moved with purpose and mass. She reached for her bear spray and stayed perfectly still, listening to branches crack just outside. When daylight came,
I was woken up at about 3 o'clock in the morning to a big commotion, and it was scary. I didn't know what was going on out here, but I grabbed my bear spray and heard something heavy-footed. I thought, oh, it's probably a moose, but there was a big noise. And then this morning, I wake up to find this. This is where my shower tent was, and it was down, laying across the trees over here, and it was all shredded. And I thought, well, 60 yards apart. And the shower tent's right there. So I stood this back up so I could kind of recreate what happened here. I think this is the point of impact back here.
What she found was impossible to brush off. Her shower tent, pitched roughly 50 yards from where she'd been sleeping, had been completely destroyed, flattened, torn open, and shredded. Heavy-duty fabric had been ripped clean through. Bamboo mats were gnawed apart. Bite marks sat at face level. This was no curious sniff around. It was raw, deliberate force. A bear had moved through her camp under cover of darkness close enough to have reached her sleeping shelter. That evening,
this is about face level to me. You can see the real light, like, probably came down, probably pushed it down. This is all ripped up. Probably teeth marks here. This is what it looks like from the inside. Can you imagine being in here and that? Hello. No, thank you. That's like Freddy Krueger, just terrifying. So, and then it chewed up, it ripped up this bamboo mat too. It was in there.
She repositioned her trail cameras and went to bed with her bear spray right beside her, knowing one thing without any doubt: the wilderness had already pushed against her limits, and the next visit might not end with just a ruined tent.
But the tent itself is gone. I think what I'm gonna do tonight is just leave this back up. I mean, chances that it'll be back is probably not a lot, but I'm gonna set up my trail cameras tonight around camp and see what happens, but hopefully it won't be back.
In April of 2026, a YouTube channel called Paranormal Discovery uploaded footage recorded along Ghost Road, a remote stretch of dense Canadian wilderness. The channel specializes in paranormal investigations and expeditions into off-the-grid locations. On this particular outing, Lomar and his companion Chelsea set out to find an unmarked lake rumored to be tucked somewhere within the surrounding mountain range.
We'd come back to this lot. It's pretty hot today, but yeah, I kind of discovered something about this area. I actually was looking for a lake. I'm like, I hope there's a lake in here. That they did have lakes scattered. It was really, like, it was a long time ago. So I'm like, you know what could be different? Something that's just new, refreshing.
They started by pushing into the forest and following a rough trail toward a lake Lomar had spotted on an old map, right around the point where their cell signal dropped out entirely near the trailhead. The atmosphere felt off almost immediately. Before they'd gone very far, Lomar stumbled upon a makeshift shelter, a blue tarp strung between spindly branches, surrounded by rusted cans and scattered debris. Whoever had set it up was long gone. Without any prompting, the Spirit Talker app they were carrying picked up the word power out of nowhere.
Yo, I think I just found someone's camp. That's like a shelter, a rain shelter. Yeah, that's dead ass a rain shelter. The fuck? What is this? It's like old cans. Yo, this is trippy. Is someone camping your key? There's nothing though, but that's definitely...
Further into the backcountry, Lomar came across a large rock formation with a wide gap at its base. Something inside appeared to be shifting around. By this point, they were roughly an hour and a half deep into the mountains, with no real sense of which direction they'd come from. Later that evening, while sitting beside the campfire with Chelsea, a face seemed to emerge from within the flames.
Her for a little stroll, and then I see this big rock with an opening in it, and I hear something moving in it, and I'm like, no way. There's literally no way. I have no idea where the hell we are. We're kind of near, like we went from, I don't even know.
It looked like a man, a narrow face, a pointed chin, a small mustache, glasses, and what appeared to be a fisherman-style hat. Not long after, loud banging sounds began echoing out from the tree line.
Yeah, so they'll, like, like they'll show faces and you'll be able to see spirits in the fire.
You said you saw a face already.
Yeah, like I was sitting here just like staring. The flame was huge. It was really tall. And then all of a sudden, like I'm like focusing and I was able to start to see the silhouette of a man's face. Like he had like a pointy chin. He had a little mustache, little glasses on.
Really?
And like a fisherman style hat on.
Jeez. I wonder if that's like someone that used to live in the woods back in... Oh. Yeah. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna turn the tripod this way. Yeah, that's like...
Chelsea started experiencing sharp pains in her chest, then something large crashed through the undergrowth and came charging toward them. Shortly after, a thick fog crept in, and the trail they had used to enter the area had completely vanished.
Oh man. Just be careful, don't go too far ahead of me.
Look, it kind of opens up though.
Okay, when we get to the open spot, I'm gonna give you the camera because I'm gonna get the bear spray ready.
Look. Yeah, look right here.
Oh shit, what? Look at this. Look what we found over here. Good spot, hon.
Behind you.
Here, let me get the bear spray ready. That's moving. Whoa.
Wait.
They attempted to retrace their steps, but kept ending up in unfamiliar spots. The spirit talker then produced the phrase, "my throat," right as Lomar noticed his own throat was beginning to ache.
We could be going in the complete different and wrong direction right now. Yeah, we could be going in the complete wrong direction right now.
Okay, we're like, there's no way out of this spot.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, I remember this. I'm pretty sure this chewed tree right there.
Remember this.
Whoa! What's there? Whoa!
Okay, babe, we gotta get back to open ground.
Yeah, there was just something over there. Do we have to go that way? I literally
I don't remember this.
Remains.
Jesus.
I don't remember this, but...
The fog only got denser. Every direction looked exactly the same. Then they spotted a half-stripped tree, one they both recognized from earlier in the hike. They used it as a reference point and managed to navigate back to their van, arriving just as a storm began rolling in.
Okay. I think we should call it.
Still trying to figure our way back. Okay, so we just keep heading up straight. Now
Straight
we're
to the
trying
car.
Get out of the ass of the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Holy crap.
We just have to look for that half-eaten tree.
But what if we were going the complete opposite way? That was completely...
Some of what unfolded that night, the abandoned shelter, the cave, the figure in the fire, the strange noises, might have a rational explanation. But the fog appearing when it did, the chest pains, and the spirit talker's eerily timed responses are a lot harder to write off. So what do you think was lurking inside that rock formation? In March of 2020, YouTuber CJ Faison and his closest friend Sunny Deeds ventured into Maryland's Pocahontas Forest, a location shrouded in the legend of the Hookman, a prison escapee who disappeared into those woods and was never recaptured. People in the area claim to still spot him lurking along the roadside. Others describe hearing screams after dark or catching glimpses of figures that dissolve the moment you focus on them. They hadn't even begun setting up their camp before a strange guttural grunt rolled out from the blackness, something that bore no resemblance to any known animal.
You picked the thickest area of the woods to go through.
You told me to go straight and to the left.
I'm taking the lead. Golly dang.
You know me, I'm trying to find briars to get hung up in.
My goodness. Damn. Oh, that mug right there would hurt. I don't get how they're so pointy. The f was that?
They packed up and moved further into the woods. Then CJ stopped dead in his tracks. There was a silhouette standing perfectly still among the trees ahead.
Oh boy. Hey, don't walk under that. It's got a lot of spiders on it. Oh!
Did you see that? No! I was looking over here at spiders.
Let me turn my light on brighter. Dude. You not. Alright, that was weird as hell. Dude, I swore there was someone standing right there. Literally right there. I swear. Clearly we would hear him or would have seen him, dude.
He shouted out, but got nothing back. When he swept his light toward it, the figure was gone, but that was only the start of it. Then a whistle rang out directly behind them.
Somebody just whistled. Let's go in further. That was weird. You heard that? That's strange, man.
Is that you?
No. Hello? That was right behind us, though. All right, let's just keep walking.
Minutes later, something struck CJ across the face hard enough to hit his camera.
Oh! Ow! Ow! Oh! 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 What the was that? I don't know. Holy! There's no way that that was you.
What?
Do I have a red mark right through there? Holy!
Not really, no.
I don't even know what just happened, but something just hit me, like across the face, and then hit my camera. No joke. I know it couldn't have been you. You're way too far away. It was right when I stepped in that spot right up ahead of us.
Sure wasn't a branch?
I'm positive there's no branch over here. It came from the right. And I heard it like, and then hit me. I swear, Sonny, I swear right now, dude, it came from the right side. There's no branches or anything like that. It hit me and hit my camera. Bro, no joke. I mean, I am... And it didn't fall from above. That's the thing that gets me. I thought it was the rustling of the leaves, like... But I'm telling you right now, dude, something was like... And then hit me in the face, hit the camera.
You sure it wasn't, the noise wasn't me coming up behind? Because I was stuck in...
Nah, dude, this thing...
It hadn't dropped from the treetops. It came from the side, from a spot where no branches were hanging overhead. That's the moment they noticed the lights. Two of them drifting between the trees.
Yo, that's a light. Dude, I don't want to go oh, here it is. I really don't want to go through this again. I literally sat in the woods here for like almost 2 hours without lights. Because there's some psychopath in the woods at way past midnight. I feel a little bit better because I'm not alone, but you can see. Yeah, yeah. That was me. The fart was me. I'm getting nervous. He's moving. He's moving. Are they walking towards us? Are they walking towards us or no? Oh, 2 lights. There's 2 lights.
They killed their flashlights and held their breath. The lights slowed, then died completely. For a full 40 minutes, they sat swallowed by darkness. Then something cut right through the quiet, the voice of a young boy, well past midnight.
Well, you're gonna have to turn your light on. What was that for real? That sounded like a little boy in the woods. All of a sudden, don't.
No child had any business being out there, but something was. They separated. That's when CJ noticed that every footstep he took was being mirrored by another, pausing exactly when he paused.
And every time I take a step, I feel like there's footsteps behind me. So I was kind of just chilling for just a few seconds there. And I don't really know what to say other than, okay, there's Sonny walking there. There's just, like a presence or something like that that's around. And I don't want to freak myself out being in these woods. It's like the #1 thing that you cannot do. But just the fact that there's just such silence in woods, that's what like gets me, so I don't know.
He assumed it was Sonny, but Sonny was hundreds of feet away. Then came a thunderous crack and a crushing force around CJ's chest, like unseen hands closing in around him.
I don't know what the that was, but I ain't looking to find the gap. Ow! What the hell happened? Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
What happened?
Dude? Something? I swear, there's like, I don't know if like something has followed us from the Honeycutt farm, spiritual, I don't know, but...
Dude, I don't know. I did a spirit box over just for the hell of it, and I heard, the only response I could understand, I heard flashlight.
No way.
Yes, I mean, yes, you have to go back and look at the footage, but I'm almost positive that that's what the hell it said was flashlight. But I'm getting, dude, the pain in my back that I had at Penhurst.
For real?
Yes, it's, I don't know what the hell, it's almost like something is squeezing me.
No signal, no clear way out. And then something out there made the choice for them.
Oh, gosh. Dude. Oh! Go, Sonny, run!
What was behind those moving lights? What sent that object flying in from nowhere? What produces the voice of a child in a place no child could last the night? And what was shadowing their every step? Always just out of reach, never quite visible enough to face. Franco TV is a channel built around visiting some of the most haunted and outright dangerous places on the planet. And Franco doesn't just show up with a crew during daylight hours. He goes alone, after dark, into the exact spots that even on-site security guards won't set foot in. Tonight, he's heading back to Cementerio de los Pretos in Mexico, a location that's already been responsible for some of the most terrifying moments in his career. But something entirely different is waiting for him this time.
Currently, I've been getting calls from one of the security officers here that were letting me know, hey, just in case if you're interested, just letting you know, there's been sightings of someone walking through here with, apparently they think it's a woman or a man. I'm here now and I just heard like footsteps. It sounded like somebody running through here. But anyway, they've been getting some weird sightings here and I wanted to see if I could explore this.
What makes this place so uniquely unsettling isn't only the paranormal activity, it's also the very real human threat. The cemetery sits right on the edge of the Barrios, a neighborhood with a well-known reputation for theft and violent crime. Franco is essentially caught in the middle, with danger pressing in from both the living and whatever else occupies this place. As he works his way through the underground crypts, he stumbles onto something that immediately sets a dark tone for the rest of the night.
Just looks like they set it on fire. And I can still see the guy's spinal cord right there. But nothing else. They still have black bags thrown on the inside for witchcraft. You see it? All that's not supposed to be here. That one was a little opened. The hell is that? Turn off my light for a second. I just heard something weird. For a split second, I heard something dragging or something like whoo, whoo, just now, as I was inside of here. And it got quiet. I'm just nervous because I don't know what I'm going to run into today. Every time I come to this graveyard, something happens, whether if it's paranormal or if it's a person going through here or a bandit. It's just this place is actually extremely dangerous. This isn't like a property I could rent out. This is like...
Roughly an hour into the investigation, Franco picks up on a sound that stops him cold. It starts out like moaning, then gradually sharpens into something unmistakable. Someone crying. Not just quietly weeping, but full-on screaming. Rather than turning around and leaving, he does exactly what you'd expect from a committed paranormal investigator. He moves toward it, and that's when things took a turn.
A lot closer to where I'm hearing the screams. It's actually further up here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my night vision camera and see for myself. Hear it? I'm going to switch over to night vision. It literally sounds like they're screaming. Oh, it's over here. Look, I just switched over to my other camera. I can focus in a little bit better. She's pretty far back there.
Now, I already know what a lot of you are thinking. It's probably just a person, maybe somebody grieving at a loved one's grave, but what unfolds after this moment is going to make you rethink that pretty quickly.
See something? ¿Está bien? What the f? Holy sh**. It just took off. ¿Está bien? What the f? That's the tomb right there. That's where it was at. Hola? Yo quiero hablar contigo. ¿Está bien? I have never seen something like that before. I wonder if it was laughing that I was hearing or was it crying, because what I heard this time was definitely crying. I feel like somebody's going to be watching me from the ceiling. It just took right off.
When Franco goes back to examine the area, he finds physical evidence left behind from the encounter. A wet residue coating the wall where the entity appeared to have scaled it, along with cookies that had been placed there as ritual offerings. Whatever it was had literally dragged itself up that wall, leaving a damp trail in its wake. But the night still had plenty left in store. As Franco pushes further into the cemetery, he begins receiving direct responses to his questions. Not just spikes on an EMF reader, but actual audible voice replies.
Gloria! Georgina! ¿Está bien? I just got a response. It sounds like it's saying sí. ¿Estás solita? Oh my God. I was literally getting...
Those responses keep coming as the investigation goes on, each one more unsettling than the one before it. It feels less like random noise and more like something deliberately engaging with him, pulling him further into the depths of the cemetery. And yeah, collecting EVP responses in a graveyard at midnight while chasing reports of witch sightings is not exactly how most people spend a weeknight. Franco eventually reaches the tomb of Gregorio Camacho, a well-known witch with a reputation for performing both benevolent and harmful work on behalf of those who sought her out. After nearly 2 hours inside the cemetery, he finally decides it's time to go.
Me voy a ir. Adiós. ¿Te puedes decir bye? Dile bye. I think it's saying bye. I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to you guys, but I am getting a bunch of spikes on.
So here's the real question. Did Franco genuinely come face to face with the spirit of a notorious witch? Or is there a more rational explanation rooted in grief, coincidence, and the environment working against him? The evidence he captured is hard to dismiss. But as always, I'm going to leave that call entirely up to you. Meet Adam, the face behind the widely followed YouTube channel Adam Brown Adventures, a passionate scuba diver Adam puts his skills to work pulling vehicles out of polluted waterways, and perhaps more meaningfully, helping families across the country locate missing loved ones, all at absolutely no cost to them. But his channel covers far more than search and rescue. From river treasure hunting and metal detecting to abandoned location exploration and open water diving, Adam documents a whole range of outdoor pursuits, all driven by one core mission: to motivate people to step outside and carve out adventures of their own. In this particular video, Adam brings us to Sumter, South Carolina, where he embarks on a deeply personal and emotional operation. He had set up camp in the area with a single purpose: to help find a man named Tommy Braley, who had vanished without explanation 7 years earlier. Tommy disappeared without leaving a single clue after clocking out of work. One evening, and from that day forward, his family has been living in agonizing limbo. So on December 30th, 2024, Adam and fellow searcher Jason came back to the case with renewed resolve, determined to finally deliver the answers Tommy's family had been waiting years to hear.
Continuing the search for missing person Tommy Lee Braley, who went missing back in 2017 with his vehicle, a silver BMW.
It's been 1 year since 52-year-old Tommy Braley was last seen by his family and friends in Sumter. Braley left Brewer's Bar on East Westmark in the early hours last August and hasn't been heard from since.
And we've been doing searching for the past years for Tommy, because he just basically vanished after leaving a Brewer's Bar and Grill in downtown Sumter, which has since closed by now. They had a lot of issues there, apparently fighting, and I've heard a lot of rumors about this bar. But he was out with his coworkers, having a good time. He left at like 2 a.m., vanished. He only had like a 15-minute drive back to his house, but neither him or his car has been seen since. So me and Jason, we've been checking so many places over the past few years for Tommy. Just all the signs to us point, when a car goes missing, you're in the woods or the water somewhere. There's a lot of woods, but by this time, usually hunters or somebody would have seen him if it was obvious. There's not a ton of water. There's a lot of little spots, and we're just, continuing to search. And you've been out here the past few days looking, right?
Yeah, I was here Saturday. It looks like it could be a car. I mean, it's a car-shaped object out towards this way. I mean, I don't know if it came around that curve here.
Yeah.
And like shot off right there, but I've seen no signs of car.
Jason had run sonar scans across a specific stretch of water, and what appeared on the screen stopped them both in their tracks, an outline that bore a striking resemblance to a sunken vehicle. Excitement rose quickly, but so did doubt. They had combed through this very area multiple times over the years, and come up empty every single time. Even so, what the sonar was showing them was impossible to brush aside. With measured but genuine hope, Adam and Jason geared up to investigate further, clinging to the chance that this time, the truth might finally be within reach.
That one looks silver. That looks pretty new though. GM. We're gonna see if we can't stick to something. Bet you would pull up some car parts though. Probably. Oh. Hey, I'm on something over here. And honestly, kind of felt like a car to me. You need to scan this, dude.
Every detail of what they were seeing pointed towards something significant resting on the bottom. The dimensions, the overall shape, it all lined up with the profile of a submerged car. Adam wasted no more time deliberating and sent his underwater drone beneath the surface to get a clearer picture. If this was truly what they had spent years looking for, they were moments away from confronting the answer to a mystery that had haunted a family for far too long.
I'm gonna send her down and see what this object is. Let's go down. Is it a four-door?
That was like a four-door. His car is a four-door though, wasn't it? The window's down, right?
driver's side window.
I mean, for this to get here, though,
he had been moving. That looks like a BMW grill front end.
This has got to be him. This has got to be him.
Can you go around more to the front?
I'm trying to. I mean, of course, it's missing the thing.
Yeah, it should have another one identical to it on the other side. Turn now. Yeah, too far, too close. That's a BMW. That's 100% a BMW.
I think we found him, man.
You're not gonna be able to tell anything.
I'm gonna try to.
There's usually a logo right there at the top where the two grill pieces come together.
That's it. That's this BMW.
We found Tommy. I bet.
It's gotta be Tommy.
That's gotta be Tommy.
Dude. I knew when that magnet stuck, which is a weird thing to say because we didn't run sonar or anything, but you kind of get to know the stick of a car, you know, the feel. And bear with me because oh, and that line's right. Oh, that line's going right over it. We found him. Can you get to the back? I'm gonna try to pull it out. But, we have confirmation that he's in the vehicle, where there is human remains in the vehicle. Obviously, we won't know that until the coroners check it out, but.
The moment it became undeniably clear that they had found Tommy, a profound sense of relief swept over them both. Human remains were recovered from inside the vehicle, which had come to rest along the very route Tommy had traveled on the night he went missing. The car itself matched the silver BMW he was last seen in. Adam descended into the cold, murky depths to pull the license plate, needing confirmation that couldn't be disputed. When law enforcement arrived, every piece of the puzzle fell into place. The following morning, the car was lifted from the water, and shortly afterward, the remains were officially confirmed to be those of Tommy Braley. After 7 grueling years of silence, grief, and unanswered prayers, Adam and Jason were able to give Tommy's family and his community something they had almost given up on: closure. But Adam didn't consider the job finished. He's still out there, suiting up, diving down, and giving grieving families a reason to hold on. Because sometimes the most profound adventure has nothing to do with where you end up. It's measured entirely by the lives you touch along the way,